resistance band program. We plan on keeping this program going through October and November at least, and hopefully till the end of the year. So I'm Greg, by the way, for those that don't know me. I know we keep getting some new faces here. I work with Monica in Chicago at our office for Adaptive Adventures. So happy to have you here. And like I said, today's focus is going to be a lot of back, some biceps, and a good amount of core. And it can all be done in a seated position. So before we get going here, let's just do our usual stretches. We're going to start at the top, and we're going to move down to our bodies. So first, let's just do some head rotations, left to right. We will be involving some traps in our workout, so we want to make sure this area, lower neck, upper back, is stretched well. Now let's drop our chin down and up. All right, a few revolutions with the head, clockwise, counterclockwise, you pick, and then we will reverse it. Let's reverse. Move down to shoulders. Let's do some forward shoulder rolls. Nice and easy. Let's get our shoulders going here too. Let's do some smaller arm circles. Let's go slightly bigger. And go real big. Now let's reverse, start small. Gradually increase the size. And then as big as you can. All right, we're going to stretch our biceps out just because we're going to use these quite a bit today. So palm forward, flip, lightly pull back on the fingers, just like that. Don't need to stretch and bend them all the way back. This will do. Nice and easy. Let's reverse. Other hand. All right, now let's get our back and chest warmed up. I'm just going to use the black band. You can use whatever you'd like. This is just a good resistance for me for this. All I'm going to do is hold it out slightly wider than chest and just stretch it until it hits my chest. This is going to get our pecs ready, but also our back. And since back is our primary focus today, this will be a nice little warm up. So let's just do about 10 of these. One more. All right. Next, let's warm that core up. Let's just do a few trunk twists. Some rotations left to right. Nice and easy. All right, now we're gonna hold this position. I'm gonna take my left arm, put it on the outside of my right leg. I'm going to push, forcing me to rotate, and I'm going to hold this position looking to my right. We're going to hold for 10 seconds. Then take your arm that's in back of you, raise it straight up. You should feel an extra stretch there. And hold this for another 10 seconds. And other side. Right arm on the outside of my left leg. I'm going to push against that leg, forcing me to turn. Let's take the other arm straight up. And rest. Now we're just going to bring our chest down to our knees and back up a few times. This is going to prepare us for our first exercise, which will be back extensions, a seated back extension. Try to go back as far as you can. If you have a backrest, maybe sit yourself a little bit closer to the edge of your chair so you can go back on an angle just slightly. Do a couple more. All right. And we're ready to begin. So as usual, I like to do our sets in 45-second increments. I'm going to get the clock going here. The first exercise is going to be a back extension, almost like a seated deadlift. I'm going to have the green, red, blue band with my handles. And I'm going to focus the camera down here to show you what I'm doing with my feet. So if possible, try to keep your legs extended. You don't have to. You can keep them bent too. But if possible, extend the legs. I'm going to grip halfway down the shin, not using the handles. And all we're going to do from this forward position now is extend. Just sit back up. Forward and up. If you have to keep your legs bent, that's fine. All you're going to need to do is grip the bands a little bit lower. You're probably going to grip them just above your ankles. And then you're going to sit up with it. This is what it looks like from the side. By the ankles, and we're going to sit up and back down. So we're working our core here and our back. If you have your legs all the way out, you're also going to be working those hamstrings a little bit. And this is the motion we're doing. So pick whatever position you like to do this in. And we're going to get started. Going to do 2 sets of all of these exercises for 45 seconds apiece. And here we go. Ready, and let's begin. Just go nice and easy. This is also a part of our warm-up and the first exercise. This should help lower back pain. If it hurts, maybe start with a lighter weight or no weight at all. Only have about 10 more seconds to go here. And the last one. All right, and rest. So right now, feel free to adjust your weight. If it was too easy, it was too hard, now's a good time to add or subtract. poundage off your band. If you liked the way it was, just keep it. We really don't want to go too heavy here. Whenever you bend at the lower back, you don't want to use too much weight. And here we go. Set number 2. Ready, and let's begin. You can definitely do these standing up. Just today I chose to do all these exercises in a seated position. But you can definitely do this one standing up, and we've done this in the past. It was called the Romanian deadlift, basically, straight-legged deadlift. Only about 5 more seconds to go here. And last one. All right. And rest. Next exercise, I'm going to keep these same bands. These are going to be one-armed rows. So I'm going to stand. Let me adjust my camera one more time. I'm going to stand on the bands. If you can straighten your legs out, please do so. But I'm going to keep the handle about halfway up the shin, and I'm just going to hold the loose rope here. This arm isn't going to do much. And all I'm going to do is pull with the handle, just like this. I'm going to fix the camera now so you can see the top part of my body. But the motion we're doing is just going to be a row, one arm row. And you might have to play with it just a little bit. There we go. That's what I want right here. This is a side view. So I gripped it right here with a little bit of tension halfway up the shin. And now we're just pulling. And the reason I'm doing only single arm, because you can get a little bit more range of motion when you isolate the arms. You can do it like this as well. If your feet are bent, this is what it's going to look like. You shouldn't be really twisting much. It's just one arm back. So please choose which arm you want to start with. Once again, the side you're starting with, the foot's going to be closer to the handle, and then you're holding the slack with the other hand. So 45 seconds on the clock, and here we go. So your body should be pretty quiet. All that's happening is your right arm or left arm, whatever you're using, is pulling straight back. About 10 seconds to go. Two more. 1 and 2. Now we're going to go to the other side. So all I'm going to do, pull this band here. So now my left side is ready to go. And that's it. So let's give yourself a few more seconds to get set up for the other side. Feel free to stay on just one side if you want to strengthen one side of your body over the other for some reason. It's up to you. And here we go. This is another exercise we could have done off the anchor today, the low anchor. I just chose to show it in a seated position using our bodies because we've done the low anchor before with the rows, but we haven't isolated the arms. 10 seconds to go here. Two more. 1 and 2. And for the last one, let's just do both at the same time. So we can either do the handles, but the handles, I'm kind of not getting enough resistance because it's too long. So I'm going to grip it just below the buckles. And especially if you're in this position, the handles aren't going to work that well because you're not going to have the resistance that you need. So I'm going to grip it below the buckles, and now we're going to do the row. So now we're doing 2 arms at the same time. If your knees are bent, you're just going to grip it a little bit lower, and that's the motion you want. So here we go. Ready, and let's begin. Halfway there. Ten seconds to go. Last one. All right, and rest. Now grab another band that's not attached. I'm just going to grab this yellow band that's sitting here, and that's all we need. So if you want to grab one of the lighter bands without any handles, this would be a good time to do it. This next exercise doesn't require much weight. Once again, I'm going to use my feet as an anchor. Doesn't matter if they're bent or if they're stretched out. If they're stretched out, you're going to get more of the plane that I would like to do for this because we're going to work the back. So we're going to do these reverse flies. And from this position, you're working the back more than you are from here. If you're doing it from this position, you're working the shoulders more. So either way, if this is the only way you can do it, that's perfectly fine. Just try to go back as far as you can instead of up. And then if your feet are out, this should be just fine to go straight back. And these are reverse flies. They work our shoulders and they also work our back and traps. So here we go, 45 seconds on the clock. And let's begin. About 10 seconds to go. Last one. All right, and rest. All right, grab some water if you need it. We're going to move to our anchor for the second part of the class. So I'm going to move the camera. There's my anchor. And I'm going to be using what we started with. So green, red, blue. Let's move this. That's probably a better angle. So basically I'm sitting about, I'd say 3 feet away from my anchor right now. And I'm actually going to scoot back a little bit. I'm going to want a little bit more tension for this next one. So right now I'm probably close to 4 feet. In our first move, we're just going to put our hands together. I'm actually interlocking the fingers so it looks like this. We're going to pull towards our chest and we're going to do a light twist. We're working our back and we're working the core. With these 3 bands, it is pretty challenging. So all I'm doing a row into the chest and then twist left, bring it back to the center, release, bring it back, turn to the other side. And that's what we're going to do for 45 seconds. So pick a good weight. This is going to be challenging, the red, green, and blue. I'm going to stick with it, but I would probably drop one of the bands just because the twist is a little, I mean, you really have to engage your core to get that twist. So set yourself up, and we're going to get going here in about 10 seconds. All right, here we go. So I'm going to pull in, I'm going to turn left, I'm going to pull back in, then I'm going to turn right. We're going to do these for 45 seconds. Ready? And let's begin. Try to keep those bands as close to your chest as you can when you're twisting. One more each side. All right, and rest. We're only going to run through these one time, just because I do have quite a few exercises I want you to see. So we're only going to do one set of these next exercises. All right, next one is going to be wide row. So we're going to pull our hands apart like this. It's going to look like this, and we're pulling up. So you want to pull up towards your shoulders from your low anchor point. And that's going to look like this. We're going to work our traps here a little bit more and upper back. I still have the same resistance bands on. And here we go. Halfway there. One more. All right. Good job, everyone. Now I'm definitely going to drop a band. So I am going to detach the blue one because I don't want that much weight for this next exercise. All right, so I have green and red. Same position, but I'm going to do an underhand grip. And we're going to pull down, arms pretty much straight. It's a reverse grip, pull down. You can have a little bend in your elbow, but I wouldn't keep them, I wouldn't do this. You want to keep straight. You'll definitely feel this in your mid back along the spine. So this is the motion. We're going to go slightly behind our back and back forward. All right, here we go. 45 seconds on the clock. And let's begin. So I'm slightly pausing at the very end to really emphasize that move, that contraction. Ten seconds to go. Two more. All right. Next exercise is going to be easy switch from this. All I'm going to do is turn the handles. So I have a neutral grip. And you could either hold the handles in a neutral grip or grip the bands just below the buckles. I'm going to just grab below the buckles for me, just easier. I prefer this. And we're going to do the same thing with neutral grip now for 45 seconds. And here we go. Ten seconds to go. And last one. All right, good job, everyone. Let's see what we got next. All right. For this one, you can probably stick with what we have here or add the blue one back on. I'm just going to stick with what we have here. And for this one, we're definitely going to grab below the buckles. And I'm going to move myself slightly further away because we're going to bend forward. And we're going to do these. We're going to bend, put our head forward as far as we can. And we're just going to pull. This is going to work our lats a little bit more. I have my palms are facing out. And I'm just pulling in. You're going to feel it right up here on both sides. So 45 seconds on the clock. We only have one more back exercise after this, and we're going to move to core. And here we go. A little over halfway there. Ten seconds. One more. All right, and rest. So that you should be feeling back here, up along the sides here, the lats. It's a real good exercise. It's basically like doing a pull down from a high anchor because your body's forward. So that's a way you can hit those muscles without using a high anchor. All right, we have a couple more here. And for this one, I'm going to use the black band, which is the thickest band. We're just going to stand on it. I'm going to grab by the ankles, sit up, and now we're going to shrug. Up and down. We're going to hold at the top for a second and let go. Feel free to add more weight or use less weight. I think just using this black band on its own is a pretty good poundage for this exercise. And here we go, 45 seconds. Gonna grab by the ankles, sit up, and now we're gonna do our shrugs. Hold at the top. It's a very short move. You're really just shrugging those shoulders up. It's about an inch or so, a couple inches maybe. You should definitely be feeling this. About 15 seconds to go. Two more. 1 and 2. All right. Grab some water real quick. We're going to finish off with our core. So we're going to do 4 different core exercises using the low anchor. I'm just going to grab some water real quick. And I'm going to keep the red and green only. And I'm also going to take off one of the bands, or one of the handles, sorry. And I'm going to attach all the bands just to one handle. So if you want to do that, our first move is going to be, it should look like a diagonal axe chop from the bottom up. My anchor isn't all the way down, so mine's going to look a little bit different. It's going to look a little bit more flat, but I'm still going up. Yours should probably start from the bottom if you have it under the door. So these are going to be axe chops, but they're going to be a twisting where we're going to go up with it instead of just straight across. So we're going to start low and we're going to finish high. This is all we're doing, just rotating. So the green and red, it's a little challenging, but it's not too bad. You might just want to go with one of these. It's up to you. Why don't you try to do a couple and see how it feels? If you need to make any modifications, this is the time to do so. All right, and here we go. We're going to do 2 on each side, only 30 seconds apiece. And here we go. Feel free to stand up and do these if you don't want to sit. You might, your center, your base gravity will be better standing up. It won't try to slide you off the seat. But you can definitely do it seated too. Just have to plant those feet into the ground. About 10 seconds to go here. One more. All right. We're going to take a quick rest and we're going to do one more on this side and we'll just turn around and do the other side. All right, set number 2. Here we go. So the goal is to try to rotate your trunk about 90 degrees. do 2 more. All right. So now just rotate. Just turn yourself around. You're going to see my back here. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Other side. And here we go. Halfway there. One more. All right. 10-second breather, and we're going to do one more set of that. All right, here we go. Two more. And rest. All right. Next, we're going to do our little lateral bends. So we're just going to stick with the one handle here. I'm going to give as much tension as I can. So I'm about roughly 5 feet apart right now from the anchor. And all we're going to do is take our other hand and try to touch the ground. And then back. Let it pull you in, touch the ground, bring it back. This is working our obliques. We're going to do these for 30 seconds. I have the same weight, the red and green band. And here we go. You just want to move on that lateral plane. You don't have to touch the ground, just go as far as you can. And then let the band pull you back. Two more. All right, and let's switch. We're only going to do one set of these just because we're running low on time. So now let's do the other side. And here we go. Halfway there. Two more. One and two. All right. Next, we're going to put our handle back on. So let's separate a green and red band from the one handle we were using to go back to how it was previously. How are we on time? Okay, a couple minutes to go. In this exercise, we're gonna sit with our back to the anchor bands. We're gonna put our arms straight up. My arms are extended, locked out at the top here. And we're gonna just bend forward and do a crunch. Just like that. It's a really good exercise. You really have to isolate your core here because it's going to want to pull you back. You can do these standing up as well. These work better standing up if you have a high anchor set up, and they work better in a seated position with a low anchor. So why don't you find a good resistance? I'm using the red and green. This will be our last exercise of the day. We'll try to do 2 quick sets of 30 seconds. So arms straight over your head, good amount of tension here. And we're just going forward about 45 degrees. So the entire time, your core is working because even up here, you're resisting that pullback. So you can really just stay right here for 30 seconds or a minute and get a pretty good workout for the core. Let's do 2 more, and we'll do a quick break and 1 last set. And last one. All right, and rest. 10-second rest, and we'll do that one more time. All right, here we go. Last exercise of the day, and let's begin. Three more. And last one. Oh, all right. And relax. That's a really good one just because your core is working so hard with your arms out. Anytime your arms are out when we do these, up here, it's so much harder on your core. So let's unmute everybody.